Hello, I'm Tiffany Cloud. Welcome to The Storm. Years ago, Pennsylvanians agreed to allow table games in exchange for property tax relief. While we got an itsy-bitsy bit of relief, it was not the political promise met. So we all continue to ask our leaders for this relief. Well, today I have two guests to open the show: an outspoken area resident advocating for those in our community in need of property tax relief, Beltrami. And after that, I sit down with State Representative Tarah Toohil of the 116th District to discuss House Bill 76, proposed property tax relief legislation. We will dissect the strengths of the bill and the areas that need further discussion and debate before anything is signed into law. We're talking about property tax relief today, right here on The Storm, only on WYLN TV 35. Welcome back to The Storm. We want property tax relief, and we want it now. And before I talk to State Representative Tarah Toohil about some legislation that's in the works, I felt it important to get a perspective from someone who hears from the everyday person on the streets all the time, people in the community all the time. So Beltrami, a concerned citizen, thank you for joining me on the show to open it up.
It is my pleasure, surely my pleasure, to talk about this most important issue. It is the most important issue that I come across every day.
Yeah, well, I know that you had last year, you had two meetings of the community of concerned citizens, and at each one you had over 200 people, and they did surveys at those meetings. And I know the two top issues, no surprise, crime was a concern, but property tax relief was the other top issue, virtually tied with crime in terms of a concern. What are people saying to you when they go into your restaurant and when you see them?
Well, here's what the talk is. Booty, I'm 65 years old. Booty, I'm 70 years old. I'm 80 years old. I live on Social Security. These school taxes, property taxes, for the school taxes especially, I don't have any kids in school. My kids have been out of school for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. I need this money to buy food, yet I'm paying school taxes. Mm-hmm. Now, how about all these renters that are in the city that send their kids to school? They don't pay any taxes. So the old people, the 60-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 80-years-old, with no kids in school, they're supporting the schools for other people when they themselves have nobody in school. And believe me, things are tough out there. These people that are out there right now, they are struggling day to day. The gas bills went up, the light bills went up, food costs went up, going through the roof. How much do you want to take from people? How much do they want to take? So, what we really need is to get relief from these school taxes. Find another way to do it, and I mean, don't take 5 years, 4 years. We want it done within a year. Mm-hmm. Stop it once and for all. Find a new way to collect the taxes. I don't care if you have to put a sales tax on, raise the sales tax from 6% to whatever, but only that money is just designated for schools, nothing else. Because these politicians, they like when they see money coming in, they'll take it from here, they'll take it from Peter to give it to Paul.
Right.
We want this, if they're going to do something, it has to be strictly for the school district, for school taxes.
Okay.
That's it.
And when State Representative Toohil and I go through this proposed House Bill 76, which I know as in its current form, there are parts of it that she likes and I like, and there are parts of it that we both have concerns with. I agree with you, and I hear you, that one of the concerns is, let's not just say we're lowering taxes here to only raise them over here. We're still paying for it. It's still coming out of my pocket. So we want to make sure that that doesn't happen.
That's what we don't want. We want this specifically for lowering school. Find a new way. The people that own properties, that took care of them all their lives, stop paying these taxes, find another way to collect it, and take the burden away from the people that have been living in their houses for 50, 60 years. Take that burden away from them.
Okay, well, we're going to find out shortly from State Representative Tarah Toohil whether that burden is going to be taken away soon. We'll be right back on The Storm. Welcome back to The Storm. I'm joined today by State Representative Tarah Toohil of the 116th District. And I'm excited because we're going to be talking about property tax relief, one of the top issues, Representative Toohil, that concerns the citizens of this area. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. And it is one of the #1 issues and the most frustrating issue that I've come across.
Well, and I remember back in your very first campaign, one of the things you said you were going to do is you were going to find out where all the gaming money went, because we all expected this great property tax relief to come in exchange for gaming.
Right.
And can you, to kick off the show, briefly give an overview of where that gaming money is going?
Okay, and that is when I did come into office, and even before, when I would go door to door and speak with people, they would say, what about the gaming money? I was supposed to have property tax relief. I don't feel relieved. I'm losing my home. And it's just gotten worse. And I hear from people more and more. People call the office, little old ladies call the office, and it's really heartbreaking, and it's very frustrating. So we've been looking for, well, where is the money? Where is the money that everyone was promised? A large portion of that money goes to the horse racing industry, which people thought that was going to come back to them in their pockets and they were going to be able to keep their homes. So you have the horse racing industry, there's a local share and county account, which is money that then goes to, it basically goes to a county pot of money that we're lucky that we have Mohegan Sun in our district. So there is money that we can apply for if you're a nonprofit, like Helping Hands got some of the money, or West Hazelton is a municipality that needed help with its police department. We're able to apply for that money and bring money back home to Hazelton and West Hazelton. So that's a good thing. But you know, the people out there that aren't feeling relieved look at it and think, you know, really, instead of building a new police department, couldn't you have just given us the money that we wanted? Mm-hmm. So it's a very frustrating issue. So we have a chart. I did bring a chart that explains.
We're going to pull it up on the screen.
Okay. So it goes to the horse racing industry, 12% to the horse racing industry.
It's high.
It's a lot of money. So we're looking at billions of dollars that we need to fund public education, and 12% of it is going to the horse racing. So we have a state subsidy now that is going to continually go till the end of time into the horse racing industry. And this is a problem. It's something that I want to look at and I want to explore, because if we didn't have the local share account, if we didn't have the tourism fund and the horse racing fund, then that would be a lot more of the piece of the pie. When you look at the pie chart, that's going to be a lot more of the piece of the pie that would just come back to regular tax-paying citizens.
Okay, so right now, folks, it's 34% that's going to property tax relief. And then, like you said, I mean, it's 5% to economic development, 4% to this local and county government share that you talk about, and 12%, which is a lot, to the horse racing industry.
Right.
So you're suggesting pulling some out of these other areas.
Right. And even more, I mean, and then the casino keeps 45% of that.
Which is a lot.
Which is a lot. And really, in my, like, I went up to Mohegan Sun, I went to go, and there was one horse going around the track with a harness on it. And I was looking at that and just thinking, like, I want to weigh that against, like, okay, that's great. Like, some people enjoy horse racing. Maybe it is bringing a lot of money. So I'm going to study that as much as I can. Mm-hmm. But I still have that little old lady that's calling me on the phone.
Worried about her home.
Yeah, her husband's dead. She's lost an income. Mm-hmm. Times are very tough. You're an 85-year-old woman. You've lived in your house for 55 years, and you're losing your house.
Right.
And I just cry with these people on the phone when they call. And in other parts of the state, it's not a problem. In parts of Montgomery County, Bucks County, places that are much richer, they don't have this problem. And there's also, people think, hey, I have a great big house, I want to pay property taxes. It's not a problem in certain parts of the state, but it's definitely a problem here.
Well, I don't want to pay property taxes, that's for sure, not at all, absolutely not. I mean, and I know there are a lot of people that don't, and a lot of people are frustrated by it. And so I guess knowing that that's the situation now, I know that you and others in the legislature are working on a number of things to try to give us the true property tax relief that we want, starting with one thing is legislation, House Bill 76 is calling for a full elimination of property taxes.
Right.
Can you tell us the status of that particular bill?
Okay, so House Bill 76 has not moved at all. They voted it, it's actually not even been voted out of the committee. It's still stuck in the Finance Committee. And the problem with that bill is we have a $14 billion property tax issue that all the local school districts, that they generate $14 billion with a B, not an M, billion dollars, and that funds the school systems. And on top of that, then you have a state subsidy. But like the localities are putting in $14 billion. So if you do a total elimination of property taxes, we as the state are going to have to figure out where are we getting $14 billion.
Well, and that was going to be one of my questions, because some people are afraid that, well, you may eliminate property taxes, but you might hike up some other tax.
Right.
In order to, like for example, I know one of them is the earned income tax.
Correct.
That is being looked at in that particular bill to hike up, which I know a lot of people aren't too keen on. So you're going to hurt my income, but you're going to take property away. It's like robbing from Peter to pay Paul, isn't it?
And with that bill, what they're trying to do, because a lot of people in the legislature, they won't vote for any kind of new tax. Maybe because they want to run for higher office, and that's a really big bad campaign slogan that you voted for a tax. So they have to try to do it tax neutral, which is just like robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like you're going to be like, okay, you could keep your house, but your personal income tax for those that work and your sales tax is going to go up.
Right, and I do know now, sales tax, some people will find more palpable for that to go up, because it's, not every, it's taxing on what is spent, and all people are participating in spending.
Right.
So that one, but I think the earned income tax is the one where people are struggling more so with.
And especially in our community, when I look at it, you look at people, they work so hard, and we don't have the greatest paying jobs. Like some people have great jobs, other people are toiling away in the factory, working extra hours, and so you're gonna take that person, they're probably struggling to pay their property taxes anyway, and then on top of that, you're gonna start taking more out of their paycheck. And that is gonna hurt the working man, the working woman.
So you explained to me before we started rolling tape that this House Bill 76 has now become an amendment onto another bill. So maybe if you could, in the most remedial way possible, walk us through where we actually stand now.
And I am for, like, House Bill 76, which is for total elimination. I'm for that, and I think that there has got to be some way, like, you can't say that there's not money out there. There's got to be money in the lottery. There's obviously money in the gaming, except it's been divided up to everybody but our senior citizens that were the ones that it was promised to. So we have to figure out how to come up with this, it's $14 billion. So in House Bill 76, they were saying you raise up the sales tax and you raise up the PIT, the personal income tax, you're going to end up still missing $11 billion. So we have to figure out somehow how are we going to come up with this $11 billion. And every year this amount is going to get bigger that the state is going to have to generate because we have the pension costs of
I was just going to say, can't we get rid of the pensions at least for the new people coming in and move to a 401k or something like that?
And that's the thing, like property tax relief and pension reform, they do go hand in hand.
Yeah, so absolutely.
I'm looking at it too. I'm like, let's do this now. Like, save the retirees' pensions. The teachers that are there now, they're under that contract. Protect that. That's their right because that was their contract. But we can't keep on doing this
No.
going forward. And the working man that we were just talking about before, that isn't in a union, those working people out there, they have no 401k, usually, and really no health benefits. So those are things that the teachers have that are really good. And we have created it's like a $16 billion, 16 billion with a B, again, billion-dollar liability of the pensions, because the state has no idea how they're going to pay these pensions. So I have teachers calling all the time that they're in crisis because they are retired or working right now, and they're like, what about my pension? Why every year are you telling me I'm going to lose my pension? And I don't think we should be operating that way. We shouldn't be spending more than we have, and we shouldn't continue with these unreasonable liabilities that no one can pay for.
Right.
And you are the best with keeping up on the national level. What's going on federally, that's why. And it's a national security risk that we have a government shutdown, that we have said we're gonna pay for every little thing, and we don't even have, we're not even backing it with the gold standard. I mean, it's tough.
It's very scary. And with that thought, we have to take a break. We're going to go commercial. We'll be right back on The Storm. Welcome back to The Storm. Property tax relief is the discussion today. So in the last segment, we talked about where House Bill 76 is, that there hasn't been a vote on it, and that it's now an amendment to another House bill. If you could that's more of a localized bill?
Correct. Okay. So since statewide we were having trouble getting everyone to agree that there even is a property tax problem, like you have myself saying the Hazleton area, we have a big property tax problem. You have Representative Jerry Knowles in Tamaqua. He's like, hey, the Northeast, we have a really big problem. People are losing their homes. But then you get people more in Montgomery County or richer areas of the state where it's not a problem. So one of the state representatives, Seth Grove, his name is Representative Grove, he devised a plan where we would have a local option. So under the local option, the Hazleton Area School Board could say, okay, we're not gonna do property taxes anymore. We're gonna stop raising your property taxes, which I'm sure everyone out there would love if the Hazleton Area School Board did that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I will hold my breath for the Hazleton Area School Board to do that, but I mean, it would be certainly nice.
Because they would be giving up one of the most stable forms of revenue that the school district has. And so they would have to, so basically this bill, House Bill 1189,
okay,
allows the school boards to go ahead and invoke this option. But they're gonna have to do earned income tax, which is gonna be against the people, and working people, and then that they would have to do a mercantile tax on top of it. So that's like the small business owners are gonna have to pay a mercantile tax. And my fear with that bill is that people that go shopping at the Laurel Mall, if we have like a mercantile tax, if the prices are gonna get higher there, then maybe they're gonna go and have to go shopping in Tamaqua or something. We'll go down to the, I don't know what the mall is down there, like go down to Schuylkill County. Like you're gonna go to a different place where they're not having taxes.
Well, and you've outlined the scope of the problem. The fact that it's a $14 billion problem, and there's right now two options on the table, this statewide option in 76, this local option of 1189, but yet both of them, as you've pointed out, aren't ideal. Neither of them's ideal, because they each still raise your earned income tax.
Right.
So you're still paying for it in some way. And it brings me back to what we were talking about before. I just don't quite understand how you can attack this issue without attacking other large issues such as pension reform.
Right. And
which is why this may take a while.
And every year when the school board is raising your taxes, they're doing that. And it stinks because they're doing it to senior citizens who don't have kids in school and are barely holding on to their
And that's
homes.
one of the big issues, because in some states,
they're like, I've paid my dues.
if you don't have children in schools, in some states you don't have to pay.
Right.
And
that would be a great solution. That's one of the things I'm looking at now that I'm delving into this and starting to really understand it on a different level. there is money out there where you could say, hey, when you're over the age of 65 and you're not living in, I guess, you're not making millions of dollars a year in dividends or stocks, having even like a passive type of income, maybe for those people.
Well, and it's also frustrating. We have so many renters,
right,
for example, and they're not having to do anything.
Right, and they have
but they have kids in
renters
school.
Have a lot of kids.
Yeah, they have a lot of kids in school, so there's nothing there in terms of accountability for payment.
And that's why people agree with the sales tax. That I very rarely get people that are against having a sales tax.
Right.
Everybody I see says, and it wouldn't be on lettuce and bread, milk and eggs, like those real staple foods.
Okay.
Those, because at first I was like, oh gosh, we can't raise up the sales tax because if I have to buy a head of lettuce for $7, that would be just as bad as these property taxes for people.
Okay.
But those staple foods would be protected.
All right.
And that's kind of the problem too when you're looking at a sales tax increase as your solution for property taxes, then along come all the special interests saying, well, the lawyers shouldn't pay sales tax and the doctors shouldn't pay sales tax and we don't want sugared bubble gum to pay sales tax. And it would really have to be like, I'm sorry, there's no exemptions.
We only have about a minute and a half left. I wanted to make sure that you could review with the viewers that there is a property tax rebate that people get and that they can go to your office if they need any help with that.
Yes. So it's important for the viewers out there to know that we have a property tax rebate. So if you pay your property taxes or you're a renter over the age of 65 and you pay your rent, that you're able to come into the office. We'll fill out all the paperwork for you.
If you're a lower income person.
If you're a lower income person, call the office. We'll fill out all the paperwork for you and you will be able to apply to get a check back. And those checks can be up to $650. So for the senior citizens that are out there who are really struggling, it's a huge, huge difference. I mean, the problem is sometimes your tax bill is $4,000, but you're getting almost 1/4 of that back. Sometimes, or if it's $3,000, you're getting $650 back. So at least you're getting something back. It's something that you didn't have before.
Right. Well, I do appreciate the fact, Representative Toohil, that you are trying to tackle some big issues. I know, crime is one of the big issues, and you've gone after the MnSEC issue very, very hard. You recognize that property tax relief is a top issue in your district. You're trying to find solutions. Obviously, the solutions aren't all easy. This is going to take some time, but I appreciate you taking the first steps of outlining the process and where the legislator is beginning. So thank you for coming on the show, and we'll have you back with the next update.
Yes, thank you so much because I know it's important to the people out there, so it's important that you had this show for them.
I appreciate it, and when you look around and you don't like what you see, like property taxes, don't complain about it, do something about it. Thank you for watching.